10 o'clock. This is Women in Business. It's a segment brought to you by Lex Mae in Texas City at Tanger. I'm going to throw this onto our FM. We're going to have some fun. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. My name is Gardy, and I have some guests in studio. This is a Women in Business segment brought to you by Lex Mae in Texas City. And I have Carrie Crump here. Carrie, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. I'm excited that you're here, and you brought a friend. You have a guest, and we're going to be talking and learning about everything that they have going on, right?
Yes, sir.
And we have Wheelchairs for Warriors, which you were in studio. We were in studio with you. I think it was March 26, 2019,
right.
And that was a long time ago.
It was.
There's been a lot that's happened since then, right?
A lot.
What's been going on?
So we have we've been fitting veterans with wheelchairs right and left. We have been serving our veterans who serve us, and it's just been a joy. And we travel all over the United States, and we custom fit wheelchairs for veterans, and it's just been a joy.
How did you start it? I mean, like, what made you do that? I mean, because, that's kind of, very off in a different field. I mean, what were you in the medical field? What got you there?
Such a good question. You know how life goes, right? You
Right?
think that you're going to be when you're 3, you think you're going to be a firefighter. And I've never ever became a firefighter, And my family, I come from a long line of patriots. Ada Larimore has served in every single conflict that America has been in. And we, we're just patriots at heart. And the plan from my father said to me one day, he said, "Honey, we need to have a talk." And I was like, "Ew, I've had that talk with Mom." And he said, "Not that talk, to talk about what are you going to do with your life? You have to do something with your life." And I said, all right, well, let's have that talk then. And he had me talked into going into the Navy.
Oh my gosh.
I was doing it. So I went to the Navy recruiter's office. I filled out a bunch of paperwork. I took a lot of tests. The path was set. I was going into officer candidate school. I was going into the Navy. My girlfriend, Sonia Yanis, from Texas City, we were going to do it together, and off we were going to go. And then I just thought to myself, you are not cut out.
You are not, this is not
this is not your personality. The first time somebody screams at you, you might scream back.
Yeah, that's kind of a no-no, isn't it?
It might have been cutting my hair. There was a lot of things, that were playing, and it's like, and I had to give up everything that I had, which meant all of my plastic crates that I set my furniture on, and but when you're 19 or 20, all you have is a lot. So I chickened out and I didn't go. And years and years later, the opportunity to go to Baghdad as a liaison officer with the State Department popped up. And I called my dad and I said, "Do you think I should do it?" And his first question was, "Why do you want to?" And I said, "Because I need to get that guilt off my shoulder for not serving my country. And this is a way for me to be able to serve my country." And he said, "Then go." If your number one answer would have been the money is out, foxtrot standing, well, then, I would have told you not to go. Don't ever let money be the number one motivator, right? And I was like, okay. Well, it was second. Just so you know, the money was definitely number 2. When they tell you the first $80,000 is tax-free, your ears are like, so there's a second $80,000?
Right.
Just checking. And so money was definitely a contributing factor. And when I came back, I just still wanted to serve in some capacity. I think all of us here are servants at heart. You're
Absolutely.
in the retail industry. And if you're in the retail industry, you want to serve. And you are clearly in the service industry. And so I just wanted to serve. And it took a long time, things happened. And God put things in the right place. And
What was your experience like over there?
That's what I was going to ask too.
Yeah.
Was it scary?
It was. When I came back, I had PTS. I just didn't know it. And I don't like to say the D part because I don't really feel like it's a disorder. I think it's something that you can overcome.
Wow, that's really cool. That's really
And the D didn't come until later. So PTS is something that you get from a traumatic experience. It could be a lot of different things. So anyone can have PTS. And I came back and I didn't really know I had it. It took me about a year or two to recognize that, oh, well, maybe this is what happened. But when you're there, you're under stress. You just have to block it out. You have to separate yourself from the notion and the knowledge that at any second you could die.
So was it that you weren't in your country anymore that brought it on, like, to begin with? Or, you know, I mean, what was the environment like?
The environment was like we were getting mortar rounds coming in. I was in the green zone for a majority of my time there.
What does that mean? What's a green zone?
Oh, that's a good question. It was supposed to mean we were safe. I think it was supposed to mean the green zone is really safe. You're not in the red zone where the military goes and they fight the wars. So they put T-walls up. So a T-wall is just at the bottom. It's an upside down T, and it's concrete, and it goes all the way up. And then they put the military puts Constantine wire around it, and you have, you know, security from the outside to the inside. So a lot of the car bombs are on the outside of the green zone trying to come in because we had local nationals working, you know, for the State Department. Super not smart, but I wasn't in charge of the State Department. But as a civilian going over there, as a kind of a contractor, it's like, wow, okay. So, you know, there was security checks, and we had 3 or 4 checkpoints in the green zone to get in. So a lot of bombs happen there, and you could always tell a bomb versus.
So could you drive, or do you just?
I did. I had a car, had an up-armored vehicle. Took every little ounce of my body to close the doors. It was a black Suburban, so it was completely bulletproof and you know, it was crazy.
How long were you over there?
I was over there almost 2 years. I sat at my desk one day, and I was like, yep, regular old desk. Here's my headphones. Here's my computer. Here's my atropine. There's my MREs underneath the table. I've got a cot in case I have to stay the night here.
Wow.
And then
crazy.
There's my stapler. And then there's my paper clips. Just your regular old office. There's my bulletproof vest, my Kevlar hat. What am I doing over here?
Right. I mean, it's got to make you
Insane.
really think about, like, life in general, you know?
It was insane. I didn't...
So did you know anybody that went with you, or did you just have to meet people, or...
No, I had gotten a phone call. I was in the oil and gas industry for a long time, so I'd gotten a phone call asking if I wanted to go over to Baghdad and I just hung up the phone. I heard, do you want to go to Baghdad? And I just hung up on the guy. It was a headhunter. And they had a lot of jobs they needed to fill in Iraq. KBR, Blackwater, Triple Canopy, all of the contractors had a big contract to fill with bodies, with people to do work and to do jobs so that the military can do their job, right? And then you throw in the State Department's also there. So there are a lot of jobs there. And the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad was basically my house. You know, I took care of the embassy there. I facilitated a lot of congressional delegations that came into the country, did some logistics. But, you know, it's a war zone, so you may be facilitating logistics one day and you may be
ducking down another
and helping do cleanup somewhere, you know, and it was just...
What an experience.
The wildest and best experience of my life.
I bet. Because, I mean, how can you even get anything close to that? So since then, though, is it hard for you to find that rush when you're in anything you do? Because really, like, that's, like, that trauma, you know, all that exposure brings you into a whole nother field, and then you come back here and it's normal.
Different. Yeah.
You know, you come back to reality. I mean, how is that?
Gosh, she's got really good questions. It's one of the things I talk about is like you're in this abnormal reality, then you come to this normal reality, and you're now abnormal, you know?
Correct.
Driving was an interesting experience. My father and I were driving from the airport to California to pick up the car that I had bought, and he's a truck driver, and he drives all the time, and he said, hey, honey, can you pull over at the next gas station? I need to use the restroom. And when we pulled over, he said, give me the keys.
Why?
And I said, why? I told you I needed to drive. And he goes, you're not going to be doing it with me in the car. This is a freeway, and you're going 45 miles an hour. And I said, oh, really? I feel like I'm going 100. Because I had been driving literally 5 miles an hour for almost 2 years, right? So there were little things like that. And then, you know, the PTS thing was, so you're over there, you're under all this stress, you're under all this pressure, mortars, bombs, your people that you know and that you're working with are dying. You're on high alert at all times. Even when you're not on high alert, you're on high alert. Mm-hmm. And you come back, and I remember being in bed, and I had an apartment in my restaurant, and there was a restaurant next to me, and we shared a dumpster, and the dumpster guy came, and he dumps the dumpster, and the lid closes really loud, and it was on a Monday, and it was the first day that I had slept in my normal environment. And when you hear bombs in the war zone, it's duck. You hear the speakers all around you are going, duck and cover, stay away from the windows, duck and cover, and it's a loud noise. I was ducking and I was covering when I heard that loud noise.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
And my heart was just, and still today, and it's 20 years after 9/11, 15 or 16 years after I served in 04 and 05, and I can still get a little freaked out by a loud noise. And that's about the only thing that I still carry with me, is just that gives me a little twitch, just the loud noises.
Right.
Yeah, so can you imagine if you're a veteran and you're up close and personal in a dogfight and you're right there in the midst of it all? Can you imagine what they go through?
No, I can't. I really can't.
Because I come
from a military family too, so that's really close to my heart as well. And you don't have kids, so
I have 2 dogs.
They're baby. They are babies too. But I mean, do you feel like you've gotten more of an opportunity? Like, I mean,
sure,
most women would not be able to do that, and so that's really, really cool. I mean, not saying that having kids isn't cool either, but that you've just gotten that opportunity. And I know when we've talked before, you know, you even owned a restaurant, so I mean, you've been all over the map. And I think when you find someone in business, especially a woman, because, you know, I mean, it's not genetically, I think we're not genetically bred to be like, okay, you know, you're going to go run this. You're going to go run this. You're going to do that.
I agree.
But I think you find with type A personality women, or it seems women in business, we honestly we can manage and do like, it's okay to go all over because you honestly can do it.
You just take your skill sets with you.
It's about how you run people, you know?
And you take your skill sets with you. It takes a certain skill set to run a business. You really have to be like a mom. When you're running a business, it's almost like being a mom. Because if you're a mom of more than one child, being a mom of one child's enough. But if you're a mom of more than one child, you might as well just have 3 or 5. I mean, I'm just saying.
That is true.
I'm looking at moms and I'm like, I would have had one and done, right? But you look at these moms with more than one kid, and you're like, oh, you're running an empire.
Yeah, so I have 3 children, and my wife at this point is like, well, it's 2 more, you know, or not really. You know, we may have more kids, but it's a lot. It's a full-time job, and I'm not set up for that. To be able to do everything, it's like, I don't know how she does it. It's amazing.
I was in my restaurant at times thinking maybe I should go ahead and have kids or adopt a few, because I do need someone to help me with the laundry and to do the dishes and to sweep the floors.
You usually deal with a lot of younger kids, so that was, I promise.
I have a lot of babies out there.
I'm a mom. I also ran restaurants. I'm telling you, you had your babies.
I had my babies. I have plenty that I've mentored and that I still talk to today. And I started my restaurant, and I bought it on September 1st. And then 9/11 happened.
Wow.
And it happened. And I was sitting here going, what on earth have I done? No one came. We opened the doors on October 1st, and nobody came.
So what did you do? Because when you start off on that bad foot, it's hard to recover.
I prayed and prayed and prayed. And it was kind of like COVID. You know, when you come back from COVID, like nobody's going anywhere. Everything's a ghost town, and everybody's afraid, and we don't know what's coming next. And finally, you know, people get hungry enough.
I opened 2 weeks before COVID, so I mean, it takes a strong person to go through something like that, you know.
It's or a crazy person,
right? Exactly. But I didn't know it was going to happen. I had no clue. You know,
I had no clue. My mom came running. She drives up to the restaurant, and she gets out and she looks at me and she says, "Crystal," because she knew I didn't have the news on, because I have 1 month to paint walls and clean, and I've got some friends coming, but mainly it's me. And it was 6 in the morning, you know, or 7 or 8 when I would get to work, and my mom comes flying up there at whatever time that was, and she said, "You've got to come to my house right now." And she wouldn't tell me anything until we got to her house and could see the news. And, you know, my aunt and uncle, I was worried. You know, he's a full bird colonel, and he was he worked for the Joint Chiefs of Staff at the Pentagon. My aunt was a civilian contractor at the Pentagon, and I was freaked out.
Well, I can imagine. Yeah. I mean, that was a really bad time
And
for our
it took
country.
days for us to just to get we're fine.
What kind of restaurant was it? What kind of food?
Oh, it was a very eclectic in the decoration, but the food was it was a scratch kitchen, and I made several different pasta dishes, and I made fresh Atlantic salmon, and it was all fresh and made to order. And as the restaurant grew over the years, I had it for 18 years. As the restaurant grew, we would do, you know, veal, and we would fly in Chilean sea bass, and I would do sushi as a special, and it'd be sold out. I would email all my
So are you
clients
like,
and say,
are you a chef? I mean,
yes, I was trained by a top chef. So
that's awesome.
So I was the executive chef and the owner, and then I trained other people to be chefs as well. So I have some baby chefs out
cool.
there too. Yeah.
So you go from Baghdad to being a chef.
Yeah, I owned the restaurant when I went to Baghdad. I got the call. That's how come I just hung up the phone. I was like, I'm in a restaurant. I'm just not going over
So
there.
who ran it while you were gone?
I had a general manager, Robert Patrick, in Cold Spring. He ran it.
Nice. Because
Yeah.
that's a really hard food and beverage. You know, the margins are so low anyway. And if you don't have the people in the right spots, that can be just an animal out of control. So that's good.
And that was a God thing, too, because he had been in the restaurant and bar business in Houston forever, retired to Cold Spring. And I said,
Do me a favor.
how you liking that retirement? Aren't you bored?
So Chilean sea bass to MREs, potentially under the desk.
Listen
Wow.
to
That's
me.
so crazy.
Listen to me. Listen. It was hard. The first time I went into a DFAC, dining facility, that's another thing, language, starting to speak in full sentences and whole words when you come back from a war zone. It's like, wait, hold on, no one can keep up with me because all I know is acronyms, right? So going into a dining facility for the first time and looking at the food that was in my tray, like in a cafeteria, but in a third world country,
Yeah.
and it's like,
I went from, no, that would be tough.
what?
Because when you get used to that lifestyle, I mean,
I
even
thought
that
y'all were
fresh food, it's hard to even get back. You can't. It's hard to
It's
take
so-
second. You know,
It's so far beyond fresh. It's at the other spectrum.
right.
And I went into the Marines. It was called the Texas White House. It was just a white building behind the embassy, and the embassy was just a building that we that we took over. It was such an interesting story. So Saddam Hussein built this building for King Hussein and Queen Noor of Jordan. I think it was Jordan. And so it was their resting place when they came to Iraq to do business with Saddam. Somewhere along the way, King Hussein said, he's crazy. We're not going back. So it might have been the Iraq-Iran conflict that really did it in for him. And so Saddam gave the building to his daughter. And all of this was written on a stone marker in front of the building. And it was just all
Like the whole
marble and stone and beautiful. You know, it was 2 stories, and then there was a big building out back, and that's where the servants stayed, and that's where the kitchen was. And there wasn't a kitchen in the building. One bathroom had 21 porcelain toilets and 21 porcelain sinks. That was one bathroom. There were 12 bathrooms in the palace, or 13. I don't know. We counted all the time because nobody could remember. And it was crazy. And, you know, that oil for food program, you know, all that money was paying for all of these ginormous palaces to be built. And, it was crazy. I don't know why I started down that rabbit trail.
How did we get control of it? If it was somebody, I mean, how did that all happen? How did you?
It was just war. You just take it over.
So you just take it
We're
over. Wow.
well back
So
back
crazy.
in the day we were maybe not today, but back in the day we were America. We came in, we took control. We took control of the buildings, and then we had this 3 or 4 square mile radius that we called the Green Zone, and it happened to be Saddam Hussein's his own palaces, his family palaces, his government buildings, and all that is the little pocket that we took over.
That's the spot they chose. Yeah, it's like, this looks nice. We'll do that.
It's crazy to think about
Yeah.
how all that works, but
It is.
it's way over my head. I mean, it's too deep. I mean, you just that's crazy.
I went to work every day in a palace, and I lived in a 6x5 trailer.
So, wheelchairs for warriors. So, I mean, if you can tell people that's your job, like that'd be something to be so proud of. I mean, really, you probably get as much out of it as they do.
Someone said to me, he is the director of medical something at College of the Mainland. And he told me, he said, I read a book, and the book was called Halftime. And the book is all about, because I was talking about turning 50 and this and that and the other. And he said, the book is all about what's your halftime show? What's your halftime show? What's your halftime show? You're halfway through your life at 50. Let's just say we'll all live to be 100, and you're halfway through. And it really resonated with me. And I had already started the process of wheelchairs for warriors and thinking about it in my mind. And when I went to see my mentor, because everybody should have a mentor in business and life, right?
Absolutely.
So when I went to see my business mentor, he said, now let's talk about this. What part of your business life do you want to focus on? Because I had, the newspaper, and I had my marketing firm, Marina Bay Marketing, shameless plug. And he says, what part of it do you want to focus on? The newspaper, the social media websites, what is it you want to focus on? And I said, I'd really like to raise money for veterans. And he looked at me, and he slammed his hand on the table, and he goes, well, then what are you doing all this? What are we talking about here? Go home, think about your life, and get back to me. And he is on my board.
That's awesome.
And he's a huge supporter.
How do you get how does that all come about? What happens? Do they apply?
Oh, how do you get a wheelchair?
Yeah.
So
and then you can go into the part. I want to know how you make them. How do you make all that happen?
So, because I have a marketing firm, I know that SEO is very important in any business. Yep. And what you name your business and what your website name is important, and it needs to reflect a little bit of who you are. I need some water. I'm sorry.
You need some water? Yeah, I can get you some water.
Okay, awesome.
Y'all keep this going. I'll be right back because I don't have any in the studio.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So I can quit clearing my throat. I don't have a cough button over here.
A cough button.
So, where was I?
How did you get the wheelchairs? And
So I created Wheelchairs for Warriors. It is what it is, right? So it's exactly what it says it is. So what we have found is that if a veteran is searching, if they need a wheelchair and they're searching and the VA is not assisting them and they can't get help from the VA, or they're waiting too long, whatever their situation is with the VA, they start Googling on their own to find a solution for themselves. We pop right up.
So your SEO got you.
My SEO is good, girl. And we own all the websites. We own wheelchairsforwarriors.com.org.net, Wheelchairs for Veterans, Veterans for Wheelchairs, Who Needs a Wheelchair? We own it all. A wheelchair
so
for
warriors.
Yeah, we're popping up. So that's good. The other thing too is, being interviewed on the radio, television, any of those kinds of things help a lot because it shares the mission, right?
Right.
And then also veterans tell other veterans.
Absolutely.
If you're in a wheelchair, I feel like I'm just turning my neck. If you're in a wheelchair and you, a lot of the chairs that we build are adaptive sports chairs. So you may have the perfect chair that gets you around your house. But what if you want to play basketball, or what if you want to run, or what if you want to go hunting and fishing or anything like that? You need a different wheelchair. And I always say to people, I always ask people, do you have more than one pair of shoes?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that's the answer.
especially for women.
If you're a woman, you have more than one pair of black shoes. You might have more than one pair of gold shoes and silver shoes.
Funny.
Not speaking for myself, of course. So if you know that one pair of shoes will not get you through life, sometimes not through your day,
Right.
then how can you expect one wheelchair to do the trick?
Sure. And does it look different? What
They all look different. So a big question that we get asked, and you've asked me this as well, is how much does a wheelchair cost? Well, how much does a pair of shoes cost, right? So our average cost for a wheelchair in 2020, we don't have 2021 numbers yet, but in 2020, our average cost of a wheelchair was $12,074.
Dang. That's a lot of money.
Some are $6,000 or $7,000, and some are $85,000, $95,000.
Depending on what it's
65, 45, 55, right? The range goes really high. What we did a lot of in 2020 was adaptive sports chairs. So they're the least expensive.
Really?
Yes. So the really expensive chairs are the ones with the complex software system that is, I'll take that one. That's the one I want. And I saw you coming in. This is service right here. What is it that you want?
He's not only a
Yes.
Okay, here's what happened, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
This is fun.
But there is no water in this building, and so I was like, I have to grab everything else so that way you can have a choice.
Oh my gosh.
What you're gonna pick? So help yourself to whatever you want. And I do have a bottle opener. Do you want the?
Yes, I do want the mineral water. That is so
I
funny.
don't know if y'all can they see this?
So
Like,
let me.
Can everybody see this?
He
Put a
literally.
studio on. Okay. I got my Topo Chico, which this isn't like
Yes.
Topo Chico. It's actually the HEB brand.
Oh yeah, but
And
the
so-
HEB brand is good.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Wow.
So there you go.
That is some.
I feel so bad. I was like, we should have water, but you know what? Yesterday I was here and there was no water in the back, and I was thinking, why don't we have water in the back? But now,
I feel like
Now you
God.
two
I
wanted
feel
to-
like God is trying to tell you something.
You're good all day. You're good.
Okay,
You're
we
good.
got
You're
everything.
golden.
You're good to go. This is service right here.
okay, y'all go ahead. I'm sorry to
No,
interrupt.
you're good. So
The wheelchair. So if you're a veteran injured in the line of duty and you're a quadriplegic and you're injured to the degree that all you can do is blink, or all you can do is move a finger, or all you can do is breathe, and you can't really do anything, we can build a wheelchair that you can maneuver enough to stand yourself up, lay yourself flat, to give yourself pressure relief, drive yourself down the street if you want. They're very expensive wheelchairs. The software system is wicked expensive, and it's very sophisticated. And we call one is called a sip and puff. So you have a thing right here, and you just go, and we train them on that as well. So that we train them
So
on
all
the
they're doing
system.
is breathing, and it'll do
Yep, and
by
it'll
command like that.
whatever they want.
God, that is just crazy.
Yeah, and if you're what we have found too is if you're a veteran and you can still use your arms, you don't want a motor chair, because the veteran will say to us, "Nope, I can still use my upper body. I can still use my arms, and I want to use them.
Keep that strength.
I want to keep that strength. I want to keep that upper body strength. So I just want a manual chair." But like one of our Marines, he was blown up on a bridge in Iraq, and he lost his left leg. He lost his. I'm sorry, Eric. I tell your story so much, I forget it. He lost his right leg, and it doesn't matter, does it? And he shattered his left arm. So his left arm was really shattered, and the VA gave him a 50-something pound institutional wheelchair. Well, with a shattered arm,
He can't.
he can't lift it, and he can still drive, right? Because they have it's very scary, but he can still drive. And he could get in his car, wheel himself in his wheelchair to his car, put it in the back, but he can't. That shoulder, you're going to give out the shoulder, and he just doesn't have the strength in it.
Mm-mm.
And
He'd have been in pain, constant pain.
and the other thing is, people say, well, he has a prosthetic. He walks everywhere. Why does he need a wheelchair? So what's interesting is, if they never give their stump relief, their stump will get infected. And then they'll have to go to the hospital and have more removed.
Wow.
So then they'll have,
Wow.
then it'll just keep going. If they're never giving it
yeah.
any relief, and then they don't have enough of a stump, because you have to have a lot there to
make
put
it
the
balance.
prosthetic on, because there's so much because of the balance. Exactly. You're so smart. And so his story was just like, so we built him a 14-pound titanium wheelchair, right? So our other veteran, Jacob Mcwhorter, he wanted a titanium wheelchair, a lightweight chair, because he had gotten part of the burn ban issue and the chemicals that they were breathing in. So he's got mitochondrial apathy, and yeah, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on Instagram. And when he would roll his wheelchair, even though it was a lightweight wheelchair, his shoulders would pop out of joint because his connective tissue is deteriorating. I know, it's so sad. So we built him the lightweight titanium wheelchair, and then we put a smart drive system on the back of it, and it looks like a little you just pick it up, and when he wants it, you just put it on there, and it looks like a handheld vacuum cleaner that you just clean out your car. And it's got a big wheel on the back, and it's a smart drive system, so he can we gave him a Bluetooth watch, and he can just tap his watch and move his wheelchair.
Oh my God, that is
they
incredible.
Ain't cheap. That was about $16,000 because the smart drive system is almost as much as the titanium wheelchair, right?
So how do you choose what vet? Like, what's the process?
We don't choose. We serve them all. It is by the grace of God that we always have enough money. Always have enough money. Oh, I could cry. Always have enough money. We haven't turned one veteran away.
Oh my God, you're gonna make me cry. Stop that.
I know. I can't help it.
What does that mean to these people? You know, before. What does this give them, you know, in life? What does this mean to them?
Freedom. And isn't that the thing, the innate feeling that you need to get Kleenex in your studio too?
Poor man.
Looking around when I got.
Like, I don't usually deal with the crying women, you know.
Like, no, we're tough and we're strong.
No, we are.
I'm writing it down.
We're
Kleenex.
tough and strong.
I need the future.
Water.
Kleenex and water. I should just have a little fridge in here.
I'm not going to get invited back.
No, hush. I love
better lighting.
Just to even see the passion. I mean, the tears are because you care so much in that passion.
Yeah.
And that passion truly is what drives you, not only as a woman, but as a great business person.
It's been a tough week for all of our veterans and for us. It's
horrible.
And we've all, it's been a lot of crying and a lot of, it's just been a really tough week. So what it means for them is mobility. They are in a wheelchair, so they're already confined in their life of what it is that they can do and where they can go. And just imagine if you don't have the proper wheelchair and your wheelchair is heavy and your wife is my size and all the kids are going to go to the baseball park because the son is playing baseball and the kids are going and the wife is going and you're sitting there and your wife has to drag you, but it's so hard to drag you because not only does your wheelchair weigh 52 pounds, but you weigh 152 pounds, or you might weigh 200 pounds because if you're in a wheelchair, you gain weight. And at some point, you may just say, you know what, y'all just go.
Yep.
Right?
That's exactly
so now you're isolated. Now you don't feel part of society. And are you going to blow your brains out? Are you going to get that depressed? We should never have to find out.
Wow.
Amen, sister.
We should never have to find out. Our veterans wrote a blank check for us, and I don't give a hoot what they want, how many wheelchairs they need to have the perfect life, as perfect of a life as they can have.
Dealing with what
the VA should be giving them everything they want. We should not even have to be in existence, but here we are.
So where's the money come from?
You.
You just have like fundraisers and
we have fundraisers. People have fundraisers for us. We write grants. We write grants. We have,
which is a huge process. If anybody
corporations.
doesn't know,
Yeah,
it's a huge process.
It's unbelievable. It takes a special person to be able to do that.
And corporations, and we're right here. And thank you for the opportunity. This spreads the message to our veteran community and also to the community that wants to serve our veterans. Right.
So is there volunteer even opportunities? If somebody was listening and said, "Hey, I want to help her with this," or
sure,
absolutely,
what
would they do?
Yes.
Who would they contact?
They can contact me. My phone number's on the website, and so is my email. But corporations, a lot of corporations are so generous. We have ExxonMobil. We have Lyondale Base. We're in the oil and gas. We're an oil and gas corridor right here.
Absolutely.
So we have all these mom and pop companies. All these companies. The end of year giving is huge. I mean, don't give Uncle Sam that money. He has enough money. Write that check to a nonprofit. of course, we would love for it to be Wheelchairs for Warriors, but write that check to a nonprofit. Don't give all that money to Uncle Sam. And if you're a company or a corporation or a human that says, I want to have a corporate culture of giving back, I want to know that I'm giving back to the veteran community. And you're a corporation that's bringing in $18 billion a year, $50 a year ain't having a corporate culture of giving back. I mean, make the commitment, buy a wheelchair, have us on, have us at one of your events, host an event for us, a golf tournament or whatever. We don't have time to do those things. I would need a full-time PR, we just don't have the money for that. But certainly third-party fundraisers are good.
Right. How long does it take you to make one of them?
So we design the chair. We go out. We fly all over the United States. If Southwest is listening, or American, or United, we fly, or a private pilot with a plane that's just sitting there doing nothing. We fly all over the United States. When the veteran calls, we go. We do not make them go anywhere. We fly to their home because if you've heard the stories, I can't get to the VA. Ugh, just my heart. So we fly to wherever they are. We want to see, where do you live? How are you living? Do you need a ramp? What else do you need, right? Because we're not going to provide it, but there are so many VSOs, veteran service organizations out there, that we can connect them with other people. We also want to make sure that the wheelchair they want is the wheelchair they need. And we've talked different veterans out of that one and into this one. This is going to be a better fit. The seat cushions can run $600 and more.
So the time frame. So when you start, so they apply online. What happens?
They apply online. I get an email saying so and so has filled out an application. So we go online. I look at it. I call them straight away, and my phone number's on the website. They call me. I always answer my phone. I do not need a stressed out veteran having
to push 1 or 2 or 3.
One for English. Just saying. No, they can get a hold of me. So we fly out there. We do the seating clinic with them. We come back. We design the wheelchair online. An American company builds the wheelchair. They're all American made. So we work with Tylight, Permobil, KHEA Mobility, so just different manufacturers. Track chair. There's there's been one instance where we built a track chair for a veteran, because most of our veterans, it's not what they need, right? Because a track chair can kind of beat you up. And if you've got a spinal injury or you've
What do you mean
lost
beat you up?
What's a track chair?
They do this. They do this to you, to your body.
You bounce around?
Yeah, you just bounce around a lot, and it's really difficult to get in. If you don't have any legs, you can't get in. Somebody's got to help you.
You're like trying to
You have to have a trailer. It's just super complicated. But we do build a lot of Cajun Commando wheelchairs. A Cajun Commando has, and all the guys like this, 0 turn.
So you can just go in circles right there,
go in circles outside. It's not really good for the house. The wives are like, you're not bringing that inside. They're not bringing it inside. But it has big tires so they can get around on their property. They can get through the sand at the beach if they want.
An ATV wheelchair.
Yeah, Cajun Commando, and they're out of, figure, they're out of Louisiana, Cajun Commando. And a woman owns the business.
That's cool.
Isn't that cool?
That's
and
really
she
cool.
is turning wrenches and answering phone calls.
Love it.
And running a business. And her husband is a police officer his whole life, and now their son is also a police officer. And so they have a special place in their hearts for
service,
for our men in uniform, our warriors. And we also build wheelchairs for first responders. That's why we're Wheelchairs for Warriors.
So it's not just veterans. So, but like from the time you get
it
that,
could be 30 days. You did ask me that question. It could be 30 days. It could be 60 days. It really depends on production.
Now with COVID
is 100% making it a little bit longer, and it'll be because of a part.
Right.
Like one piece of it.
Yeah,
one piece of it.
One piece.
Or a little electronic microchip.
It's like with the cars that we learned about with Debbie.
100%.
The last time we were here, she was
There's a chip shortage, like a literal microchip shortage that, computers and everything.
Because all the kids were online for school, so they all needed these
iPads,
these
devices,
microchips, and
put
so
them there.
Nobody could make cars.
It's the same microchip in every computer system, and it's like, what? Yeah, so we've
had
had to wait, and it's not us. We're not
Right.
the cog in the wheel, right? It's just the manufacturing.
And that's probably frustrating, because they know it's coming, and I'm sure the excitement.
They're very
and,
excited. It's like a kid at Christmas, right?
Well, yeah,
They're getting their new chair.
think about it. If you were in that situation, you know, it brings life to them again.
And we build them
Truly.
so comfortably that even if they say that this is going to be their sports chair because of the seats and everything that we do, we build them so comfortably that sometimes that when we
They
go
just
back
use it
and
all the
visit,
time.
they're like, oh no, I don't ever leave this chair. And it's like, oh, that's so cool. That makes
Right.
us so happy.
Right.
And then we fly back out to the veterans home with the chair. We'll fly the chair out, and then we fly out, and then we make sure that it fits them perfectly and that they know how to use it. And we usually do a presentation at like a VFW or you know, with their family. We try to make it something big, and we alert the media and let them know and thank the veteran for their service. And it's just another big deal for them.
You know, it'd be really cool if you did a reality series and did from start to finish, to where, you know, you were actually filming. Watch. I mean,
Did you want me to do that in my spare time?
Yes.
Okay.
you got this. You got this.
I
That would
be
be really cool to see, because
you're
I can
sleeping
only
6 hours.
imagine.
I
know.
mean, you know why?
Girl,
why
I feel you. I
that's
feel
way-
you. I was at my store till really late last night.
I can
I have
imagine.
a show this weekend. Oh, I better do that little plug out. We're at Angleton Market Days this weekend
Oh, fun.
at the Missouri County Fairgrounds. So we got store and a big show. So yeah, this is my first time doing both all of it once, and it's been really hectic. But anyway,
We went to the Angleton Market Days last weekend, and it is
Angleton. No, they weren't there last weekend.
Where
Maybe
was it?
Angleton Market Days is twice a year
it's
usually.
Brazoria County. Oh, it wasn't Market Days.
about
It was something else.
Vintage Market?
Vintage.
Vintage
That's what it
Market.
was. Okay.
In Angleton, though?
yeah.
It's at the Brazoria County Fairgrounds, and
Yeah,
it's free to
it's
park, free
really
to get in,
cool.
and it's huge. There's over 200 vendors. It's my favorite show.
We should have waited. Oh, I'm free this weekend.
There you go.
Paul is
Saturday
Paul
and
is
Sunday.
delivering a wheelchair in Cincinnati this weekend, so I'm
Awesome.
footloose and fancy free.
No, I just think it would be really cool to see, you know, the amount of emotion just by watching you and hearing it. You know, I mean, that's just, it touches your heart, you know.
When you
Such a cool
see-
thing. It really is.
When you see grown men cry who are majors in the military, or
Oh, I can't. Don't go there.
my
Let's not go
heart,
there.
my heart, my heart. And
Right.
and I always ask the same question at the end. I always ask the same question. Would you do it again?
But the whole
the
process.
answer
Service?
Would you
service.
serve again, knowing this is your outcome? Would
my
you do it again?
God.
And they all say yes.
Isn't that amazing?
And that takes a special human to walk up into a recruiter's
can't.
office and sign on the dotted line, because I didn't do it.
Whatever happened to your friend anyway? Did she go?
She had to. Her father was there. My father was 4 hours away. Yeah, she went. She retired from the Navy, and she still speaks to me. We're still friends.
That's awesome.
I go visit her.
She probably gives you.
Yeah.
She probably gets after you every time she sees you for not going. I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
So you've had, I mean, just this little bit of time, we've seen all the different things you've done. What is one piece of advice that you could give a woman that may be on the fence on starting something, or, you know, having that passion to want to do something? What advice would you give them?
Trust your gut.
Wow. Very important. Truly. I think
That
that's
is
one of our
God talking to
instinctual-
you.
It's one of our instinctual things we have, right?
There's a book called The Gift of Fear. The guy was on Oprah Winfrey, and I read the book The Gift of Fear. It will send chills up your spine, and the hairs on your arm will stand up, and it's on Amazon, I think, for like $4.99. I looked it up and I sent it to my niece. So when my young, naive nieces and nephews are graduating from college or graduating from school, high school, I give them Atlas Shrugged and The Gift of Fear.
That's cool. I'll have to look that one up.
You have to trust your gut. It is God speaking to you.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes there's things, and I will experience that at times, just where it's like, that idea is not from me, because there's nothing in me naturally that would or should want to do that. If you feel that urge in there, it has to be something else, because, you know, oh, I want to give back, sacrifice, do all this. Like, you got to listen, at least explore it and find out more information, and then follow through.
That's
Well, I
right.
think a lot of people don't even take into consideration when you give back. I mean, you're getting as much out of it, if not more, than they are. You know,
100%.
and that's a good feeling.
And listen, we get people who will sign up on our website to donate monthly, $10, $100, $300. Every dollar counts. I always think about the woman at the well in the Bible who gave all that she had, and she gave more than the rich man who gave a lot of money, right? And when I see those $10 donations come in, I could almost just cry, because I know that is a huge commitment for that person, right? And if you don't have any money to give and you just want to give your time, you could share our mission on Facebook. You could do a fundraiser for your birthday on Facebook for Wheelchairs for Warriors. You can go to Amazon Smile. Never shop from Amazon again. Shop from Amazon Smiles. And you can choose a charitable organization. You can choose Wheelchairs for Warriors. And none of the money comes out of your pocket. Jeff Bezos donates money to tons and tons and tons and tons of nonprofits. And we're listed as one of their vetted nonprofits on Amazon Smile.
That's cool. That's That's one of those career moments where you're like,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. And
you see all your hard work pay off.
Yeah, and the Moody Foundation here, we all know the Moody family. The Moody Foundation supports Wheelchairs for Warriors in a very big way, and they pay for almost every wheelchair that we build in Texas.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out. 100%. They're amazing. They call me. I call them once a year and say, hey, can I apply for another grant? Because you have to be invited. And they call me once a year and they say, hey, if we give you some money, will you stop bothering us? That's our relationship. Like, well, how's that been working out for y'all so far?
So I guess probably, to wrap it up, but so is this where do you see yourself in 5 years? Is this, is this it? Do you think you're gonna add, more little arms onto your nonprofit that you have right now, or you just gonna keep focusing on getting those veterans taken care of?
In less than 5 years, I would hopefully say in less than 1 year, we will be a vendor for the VA.
Oh my gosh! Yay!
I know. So
that'll help a lot.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of things. I spoke to a woman in a congresswoman's office yesterday, and I told her, I said, "Do you ever feel like you're being used by God?" And she says, "All the time." And I said, "Well, it's happening now, because I was just in another congressman's office 2 days ago talking about this exact same thing, and now you're calling me." And she's writing a bill, and we're going to be part of it.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good work. Great work.
Can you hear my stomach growling?
Yeah, now she's going to want food.
I can't hear
Hey,
it. I couldn't hear it.
Do you have any protein bars?
I do have
Lord have
snacks.
mercy.
I do. I could go get some if you need something.
I don't.
Did we? Crystal, did you even say your name? I don't know if you ever did. You say your name? I don't think so.
Oh,
I think I started chatting and
we just started talking.
So tell everybody who you are.
Okay,
I mean,
I
kind of
am
a little backwards, but
I know, that's okay. Oh gosh, I am Crystal Lee Larimore, and I am the executive director of Wheelchairs for Warriors, and we are located. Our world headquarters is in KHEA, Texas.
KHEA,
Awesome.
Texas.
And you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
or you can contact her marketing firm. I mean,
Oh
she's
yeah,
got all
you
kinds of
can
little things you
yeah.
can.
So
contact her.
what is the website URL?
Wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Wheelchairsforwarriors.org. They can find your number if they just want to chat, get involved,
Absolutely.
donate.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
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 It's my favorite thing to talk about. It's my halftime show.
I love that. I love that.
Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, I think we're good.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you taking the time, and thank you to Lex Mae and to you, Carrie, for sponsoring this Women in Business segment. You're going to Angleton, you said, this weekend?
This weekend we'll be there Saturday and Sunday, or come out and see us at Texas City. I will be there.
Yes.
Now?
Oh, that is so
Sheesh.
funny.
That's
Yeah, your
fun.
shop is pretty impressive.
Thank you.
I
Thank
spent
you.
some
try.
money in there the other day.
Yes, you did. In fact, I got some pants that I cut in my car that I got to give her.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I love her shop.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This
Thank
is
you.
KHEA
Thank you
Radio,
for coming.
Thank you.
99.5 FM.
We interrupted you. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. Hey, Facebook, y'all be good, be blessed. Share this out. Let me know what you got going on. If somebody wants to contact you to come on and they have a business, they're a woman in business,
Absolutely.
how do they do that?
Please reach out to me. Didn't we put that we'll put it in the comments.
Yeah.
My phone number, feel free to text. You could call, but I'm better at text messaging just because I'm very, very busy. But we would love to have you. Absolutely would love any woman that is either just starting out, or you could be a veteran, a veteran like us, ladies that have been doing this for a while. So we'd love to hear your story.